What are the most common pre-construction services? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what are the pre-construction services that are most common, how you can implement them, why you need them, and some things that you really need to consider. And I'm going to give you the top ones that you must have for things to go well. If you're into that, stay with us. Okay, everybody, this is my jam. I love me some pre-con. So this is not anything like the other video that I talked to you about. Let me go ahead and go into some details here. All right, if you do not have good pre-con services, your project will statistically fail. You cannot have your general contractor or your construction manager start work, get a notice to proceed, get a contract, and plan as they go. This is not a learn as you earn. This is not a figure it out as you go type thing. Here are the consequences. And this is from the book, How Big Things Get Done. Only, and this is the big part, only 48.9% of projects in a massive database studying over 16,000 mega projects throughout the world, only around 50% of them hit budget. Only 8% hit on budget on time. Only 0.5% out of 100, out of 16,000 projects, only 0.5% of those finished on budget, on time, as the client wanted. If you don't plan your project, those are your numbers, those are your stats. You cannot do this. Now, I know what a lot of you are saying. Hey, I just want to separate my design from construction, get it done, get that contractor going. Okay, that's a design, bid, build scenario. That means you design it in a silo, you bid it out, and then you have the contractor go. This is toxic because not only do you have a spear and gap, that spear and gap is namely this, that the contractor is only required legally to perform or build what's on the plans and specs, and the designer is only legally required to design to a level that's normal according to local standards of care. So any missing details, any problems, any missing dimensions, it's in a gap. And if there are change orders, right, you're like, hey, no, I wanted this type of cabinet. No, there's a soffit that goes there, and it's not shown on the plans, and the contractor didn't bid it that way. Guess what, owner? You get to pay for the middle. Design, bid, build is not a solid method to deploy projects. It's not a good contract delivery method. It's just not. And if you do that, you will statistically tank your project because you've separated the design from the construction in a silo. What we need to do is have pre-construction services where there's an overlap, where, and I love design build, I love IPD, I love CM at risk. Let's look at CM at risk, where the construction manager helps with pre-construction efforts, and then by the time that entity reaches a GMP that's accepted and signs a prime agreement, they are at risk as a general contractor to go build that project for that guaranteed maximum price. Okay, so that's how it works. You're essentially a CM, you become a general contractor. Okay, there are other scenarios, we have videos on that, but that is what I recommend. You must have good pre-construction services if you want your project to go well. So there are some things that you will need to pay for. Let me go through the bare minimum before I go into the list. I got a nice list prepared here for you. Number one, you're going to want to make sure that you have enabled your design team with real-time budgeting, real-time scheduling, and with real-time constructability reviews. I've got videos on this YouTube channel that explain how to do all of those in detail, but if you don't do that, you will end up over budget for a design that you can't build because it's not constructible, okay? And that you can't build within the duration that you want from a construction scheduling standpoint. So you must have real-time support for your design. If not also, early design assist trade partners. If you have a complex building and the exterior skin needs to be looked at, the MEP needs to be looked at, your elevators need to be looked at, if there's anything that's close to being design build, you might need to move those subcontractors or trade partners, I call them, in as early design assist entities. At a minimum, in addition to those design assist efforts, I also recommend that you also pay your construction manager or general contractor for pre-construction services to plan the actual project. This is the bare minimum. but let me talk to you about the ones that I recommend throughout pre-construction. These are the most commonly used. Number one, I've already mentioned it, and it is the bare bones, project planning. I expect a TAC plan, zone maps, logistics plan, trailer design, organization chart, 100%. I expect to have a risk and opportunity register for all of the risks and opportunities on the project, and I expect to see an overall comprehensive plan on how that contractor is going to build that project, in addition to a risk analysis and a reference class. You can learn more about those in the book, How Big Things Get Done. Number two, this is bare bones minimum budget and cost estimation, so that you can design to a target instead of letting that get out of control. You don't want to have a design that you can't afford, and you don't want to have an incomplete design that will be riddled with change orders that you ultimately can't afford as well. As a part of that base design, the contractor, the pre-construction services, the construction manager that you hire to do pre-construction services will need to make sure that long lead procurement is dialed in. We'll need to make sure that the site is ready. We'll need to read the soils report. We'll need to make sure that any utilities that need to be rerouted, that there's a plan for that. We'll need to make sure that all trade partners necessary for the work and participating in the early design are available, and that they're queued up for construction, and that every needed thing is ready. Now let me talk to you about a little bit of a story, and this is actually really interesting. I was working for a company, great company by the way, and we were about to build a $120 million project. Very, very complex, in a remote location with a workforce that was untried and tested with this particular entity. And we were there 10 months early. And I asked, hey, I would like to be on here planning this from day one. Here are some of the things that we did. We partnered with the design team. We had a kickoff meeting. We had a pre-flight kickoff. We worked with them throughout from an estimating standpoint. We were constantly providing real-time estimating updates or budget updates for their design. I was constantly, as the superintendent, providing updates from a schedule standpoint. We were always reviewing the drawings to enable the design team. We would work through massive issues. When it came to the shoring or the scaffolding or the design, they wanted to add another floor. We worked with them through all of those stages. We had early MEP contractors. The exterior skin, we brought them on as an early design assist trade partner to help design the skin. We brought on the elevators, and we had a couple of other consultants early on from lab consultant standpoint, right? So we were helping to coordinate that. We in pre-construction were able to really select the right trade partners for the job. We were able to do a labor analysis to make sure that they could meet our schedule. We were able to do coordination, oh my gosh, this is so good, and use our internal BIM teams to help make sure that the model was 100% accurate, ready, and the major clashes were done, so that the trade partners were able to take that Revit model, transfer it to their individual modeling applications that they use to spool out their prefab for MEP, and reduce the major clashes. It saved us a ton of time. We did pre-coordination for any of the critical lab spaces. We called it room kitting, where we coordinated devices on literally every single wall. Throughout the project and throughout pre-construction, we set up the entire project plan, and that project finished on time, on budget, and the director of construction said that it felt like going to Disneyland. Everything was dialed in. We had the best trailer, the best team, the best self-perform. We shined. I don't even know if that's the right verb, but like, it was absolutely fantastic. Like, it was so good. And throughout pre-construction, this is what I'm talking about. There's two things that tend to hurt us. Number one is an unwillingness by the owner to pay for pre-construction services, and number two, an unwillingness for GCs or CMs to actually provide those services even if they're being paid for. I was told, hey Jason, don't be planning this project, go do some other small jobs for us as a business unit, and then go back to planning. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to plan the project because that's what's needed for the project to be healthy. So these are the most common things that you will purchase from a pre-con standpoint, and some of the most common things that will help, and you have the stats to know why it's important. And so I'm going to list this in a blog post down below that you can reference. There's also a book reference that I want to link you to called The First Planner System. It takes you through the entire planning process for how a general contractor can work in pre-construction in a successful way. You've got to have that book. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.